Hi everyone, welcome to our back to our series of short videos about work. The first thing we were thinking about is that work is good by God's design, and I'm suggesting 4 reasons why this is true. Last time we looked at the first one, work is good because God himself works. My second reason that work is good is because creation itself would be, in a sense, incomplete without human work. We learn in the Bible, don't we, that God's creation is amazing, but there is a sense that this creation is crowned by mankind cooperating with God to help creation and society itself to flourish and to blossom. Going back to Genesis again, in chapter 2 and verse 5, the fact is highlighted that although there was now a world, there was no man to work the ground. Creation was designed, in a sense, to be cultivated and nurtured by humans. And so in chapter 2 and verse 15, a little later on, we're told that God took the man and put him in the garden to both work it and to care for it. Last time, we were noting that God created both structure and form and then filled that structure with fruitful content. And there's a parallel in Genesis for humans in the command that God gives to humans in chapter 1 and verse 28 to go and to subdue and fill the earth. These are not violent terms as if the world was to be conquered. I think this is more about undeveloped potential. What God is implying here is that there's a need for exploration and organization and the use of raw materials to create things. For Adam, it also involved naming, categorizing. God could have named the animals, of course, himself, but he delegates these jobs to Adam. So in Genesis, what we see is that human civilization, the earth itself, is being cultivated and nurtured by human beings. God said to our first parents, be fruitful and fill the earth. This is God's command to organize a vibrant society. Human work was therefore designed to be assertive and creative and fulfilling. Tim Keller notes that human work is essentially rearranging the raw material of God's creation in such a way that it helps the world in general and people in particular to thrive and to flourish. I think there are a few important things to know about all of this. First of all, that the mandate that we see in Genesis validates all different kinds of work, including the creative arts. I think there's a sense in which this mandate also models good parenting, creating opportunities for both security and sensible risk-taking is part of good parenting. So it is with God here. He provides the opportunity for humans to be safe and secure, and also for them to grow and explore and to develop. I think this mandate also models good delegation. It strikes me that God could have done all of this better than any human could. God could have just, in a sense, finished the job perfectly. But it hints at God's desire, doesn't it, to share with humans the satisfaction that he experiences. God's kindness in this is inspiring. And I think it's a big contrast to the controlling, micromanaging behaviors that we human beings so often can exhibit. I want to touch on the idea of vocation. One of the things that Christian thinkers have explored over the centuries is this idea of our work being a vocation. The word vocation is based on a Latin word, vocare, which essentially means to call. And what we see here in Genesis is God calling human beings to something bigger than ourselves. to a vision of work that is larger than just me as an individual person. Often as Christians, the idea of calling is thought of primarily as a spiritual thing. God calls people to be pastors and missionaries. But in the New Testament, Paul basically tells Christians to view also their ordinary work as a calling, or if you like, to see your everyday work as an assignment that God himself has given you. I wonder whether we as Christians are good at viewing our work in this way, but we should. We easily think of God calling people to spiritual tasks, but do we recognize that all human work is essentially a calling, an assignment from God himself? I want to encourage you to think about the high calling God gives human beings in Genesis to reflect his own work and to contribute and to complete and to crown creation by helping society and the world to flourish in all sorts of ways. Thanks for watching this video. Come back next time and we'll think about reason number 3, why work is good by God's design.